Now, again, today, all right, at the top, all right, we have a place for the formulas, and then underneath it, we have a little place for you to show your work. All right. Now, again, we already did area. Oscar, what? All right. Thank you. Pay attention. Area of a circle. Oscar, what's the formula?
A equals pi r squared.
Thank you. I didn't know that's what you were saying. A equals pi r squared. That's what I need you to write down first. All right. You need your calculator. All right. And now, the radius, Oscar, is what?
11.
So pi times 11 squared. All right. And now tell me what that is.
380.13.
About 380 point what?
13.
About 13. And then what are our units?
Yards.
Yards what?
Squared.
Yeah, because we measure area with squares. Bless you. Measure area with squares. Perfect. That's what I want to see. All right. I want it on there. I want exactly what I'm writing down. I want you to write down. All right. That's what I want from you guys. All right. Now, the next shape is called a what?
Rectangle.
Rectangle. So what was the formula for area of a rectangle?
Base times height.
Base times height. That is correct. Area equals base times height. Underneath that, you can do area equals, a lot of times they do what? Length times width. All right, base height or length times width. It's all the same. All right, so in this case, the length and width, all right, are interchangeable. All right, it doesn't matter what you choose for the length and what you choose for the width. So it doesn't matter what order you multiply, but the area is going to be what?
21.
21 what?
Feet.
21 what?
21 feet. Squared.
Yes, 21 square feet. You don't need a calculator for that. All right, I don't want you reaching for a calculator every time somebody's asking you to do 3 times 7. All right, use a calculator when necessary. What?
I was listening to number 3.
All right. Now, for question number 3, that is a triangle. What's the formula?
So I believe you do base times height divided by 2.
Yes, you're exactly correct. Now listen, base times height divided by 2 is okay, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I want you to remember A equals 1/2 base times height. That's how I like to say it. A equals 1/2 base times height. Now, for those of you guys who did not know that, please look up, and I want to show you something. All right? If I did this to this figure, please watch me. If I did this, then I drew this straight across. Now it's just a what?
Square.
All right. So, or we could say a rectangle. And so the area is what? I'm trying to show you how would I know what this is if you forgot the formula. Well, how could I?
You have to divide it by 2.
Yeah, you have to divide it by 2. So what I'm trying to tell you is that a rectangle, or not a rectangle, but a triangle is always half of a rectangle. Is everybody hearing me? So most kids know the area of a rectangle, but sometimes they forget the area of a triangle. So I'm trying to show you how simple it is to remember the area of a triangle. The area of a triangle is always half the area of the rectangle. And if you know the rectangle is base times height, then the triangle is going to just be what? 1/2 base times height. Does everybody understand what I'm trying to show you? All right? So that is the formula, 1/2 base times height. However, in this case, you are correct. All right? What do the tick marks represent?
Same.
That means they're equal. All right? So this tick mark and this tick mark means that this side length is 4. So your area, again, is just 1/2 4 times 4. And we don't need a calculator for half of 4 times 4. Of course, that would just be what? 8, but we're not just going to say 8 inches squared. All right, 8 inches squared. Perfect. All right. Now, again, when you take the test next Tuesday, all right, if you don't remember the formulas, there's nothing I can do for you. All right, that's why I say write them down, write them down, write them down. Okay? Here we go. Question number 4. Now, what is that shape called? Who knows what that shape is called? Not a rhombus. A rhombus is not a bad thought, but a rhombus is when all sides are equal. It is called a parallelogram. Oh, yes, it is a parallelogram. At first I thought it was a rhombus, but they're two different tick marks. You with me? So we call that a parallelogram. Do you remember the formula for a parallelogram? I want you to... No, look. It is a tilted, listen to me. It is simply a tilted rectangle. That's all it is a tilted rectangle. All right? The dimensions, listen, the formula does not change. All right? I want you to look up here, though, because I want to show you why most kids make a mistake. Let's say I said this length right here was 4. All right? The formula I said did not change. So what is the formula of a parallelogram? What's the formula? Base times height. The problem is we don't know what's the base and the height. I always tell kids, think about the perpendicular symbol. And this right here is the symbol for 90 degrees. I always tell kids, those are the things that point to the dimensions that you're supposed to use. Just like on a rectangle, let me show you, or your triangle. It's pointing to this side and it's pointing to this side. Pointing to this side and pointing to that side. Those are the numbers you use. That always helped me when I was first learning how to solve for area, and they were always different. A lot of times your teacher will put on all different numbers, and it was hard for me to remember or to figure out what numbers I'm supposed to use. Just like in this problem right here, it's pointing to what two numbers? It's pointing to the 2 and the 5. So you're not using the 4 at all. You're only using the numbers that the arrows are pointing to. All right? So in this case, the 5 is considered the base and the 2 is considered the height. And the height is just defined as the distance between the two bases. The height is just described as the distance between the two bases. So in this case, obviously, we would just say the area is what? 10 square feet. Thank you. 10 square feet. All right. Now I'm looking at question number 5. Obviously, that's called a what now?
Square.
It's squared. I like what you said about being a rhombus, because that is also a rhombus. But it's a special rhombus because all the angles are 90 degrees. You don't have to know that. We're going to do that in the next lesson. All right, we're going to review all the geometry also. All right, but you should kind of know that because we've talked about that before. All right, this is a square. So the area of a square, we say, does anybody remember? Yeah, it's base times height, but what's true about the base and the height? They're the same. So we just do the side squared. Now, I learned it from a young age of just saying base times height. It just so happens that the base and height are both the same number. But this is standard right here. This is what you're supposed to know, that it's simply the side squared. All right? So because of the side squared, this area is going to be what? 100 inches squared. All right? Bless you. Now, one of the most common shapes that everyone finds very difficult to remember, and this is generally the one that most people have the most trouble with, all right? This right here is called a what?
Trapezoid?
It's called a trapezoid. All right? It's called a trapezoid. All right? Now, again, I was taught the formula for area of a trapezoid. I say it like this. It's the average of the bases times the height. Now, what exactly is a base? This right here is a base, and this right here is the base. And someone asked me in the last class, does it matter which one the base is? No, you can call the top base 1, the bottom base 1. It doesn't matter. All right, because the formula says to find the area of a trapezoid, it's always 1/2. Then you put parentheses, base 1 plus base 2, and then you multiply it by the height. You multiply it by the height. All right, so that is the formula for area of a trapezoid. That's the formula for area of a trapezoid, and you're expected to know that. Now, again, we do not need our calculator for this. All right, so we write A equals 1/2. What are the two bases? 12 plus 6. What's the height? 8. That's exactly correct. So what's 12 plus 6?
18.
Half of 18 times 8.
72.
72. So the area of that trapezoid is 72 square yards. The area of the trapezoid is 72 square yards. All right. Again, does everybody understand? We're just plugging numbers into formulas right now. That's it. All right. Now what I want to do is I want to take a look at the next question. If the side of the square is 23, determine the area. So without looking, try to do without looking, you would say your area is your side squared. So area equals 23 squared, and you learned the square button on your calculator. All right. So now you can use your calculator for 23 squared. And somebody said 529 what?
Square feet squared.
Yes, 529 square feet. Guys, I need this attention right now, just like this. All right, stay focused. If you want to get involved, I don't mind you saying an answer, all right, or a question. All right, don't interrupt me. All right, if you're not sure about something, put your hand up. I'm trying to get you into the high school that you want to get into. I promise you this is the information that will help do that. It's a good review. If you don't know something, speak up. There's no reason to keep going. All right, it's very easy once you understand the formulas. All right, next, rectangle, area equals what? What? Base times height. So in this case, it's just 20 times 13. We don't need a calculator for 20 times 13. 260 what?
260 inches squared.
All right, 260 inches squared. I'm pretty happy with that. What?
I got 270.
Well, 2 times 13 is what?
26.
There you go, 260.
No, what?
All right. What?
20 times 13.
Okay, you keep putting 270 down, okay? All right. Now, the next page. Next page. What? Here we go.
So
Look, guys, I know you can ignore that. Totally ignore it. That's what I just was saying. I'm not interested in messing around.
It says up here, like, use pi for 313. You still want to do that?
No, we use the pi button on our calculator. All right, we use the pi button on our calculator. We're skipping the next page. All right, that's part of your homework. All right, that's just a review. All right, just of what we did. All right, now I'm into the hard stuff. Okay, now again, is it really hard?
No.
No, because for some reason, composite shapes are tricky for kids. Hey, just listen for a second. Guys in the back, Hunter, you still with me? All right. So now, what I want to do is, I want to show you, again, I don't understand why kids have trouble. We can simply take this shape and do what? I'm listening.
Oh, so you put a line and then you basically cut.
Yeah, you're cutting it into shapes that you know. So in this case, you have to have the ability to take this right here and draw this line over here. And that creates a rectangle. And then what you're going to have to do is, you're going to have to draw this line and draw it over this direction. All right? And this from here to here. Now you have just created what? 3 different what? Rectangles. And 3 different shapes. That is correct. Now please follow along with me. All right? So I have right here area, all right, of the first region. All right? Then I have the area of the second region. And then I have the area of the what? Third region. All right? Now in this case, they are all 3 what? Rectangles. So it's just LW, LW, and LW. Or I should have said what? Base times height. Yeah, it doesn't matter, LW or base times height. Does everybody agree with that? All right. So now, for whatever reason, here is what kids see a bunch of numbers and they get them confused. So I always tell kids, please just draw the rectangle. Watch what I'm doing so you're not going to get confused. And I know some of you are saying, oh, that's so easy. And you're on your way and you're writing your answers down and you think you understand and you probably don't. All right, I'm just guessing. All right, you probably don't. All right, these are the ones that are a little bit harder. Please stay with me and listen to what I'm saying. I don't care. I'm not trying to get through all the problems. I'm trying to make sure that you understand so your ERB scores will allow you to get into the high school you want to go to. That's my goal. That's all I'm doing. All right, it's not a race to me. It's you understanding. That's what we're shooting for. All right? So now I want you to look at, not that, but I want you to take a look now at my highlighter. That's my recommendation because I see 8, 4, and 3. And for whatever reason, numbers get in the way. And kids can't see, well, what number do I actually use? All right? Tell me, Mr. Strickland.
You use 8 and 3.
You use the 8 and the 3. The 4 is just a part of it. All right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up here and write 8 times 3. Now, I know you know it's 24, so I'm not interested in that. All right? The harder one is the middle one. So I'm now going to highlight the middle one. All right? I'm going to highlight the middle one, and then I'm going to give you a shot here. I want everybody to look at it, and I want you to put down on your paper what you think the dimensions of the second rectangle are. If you know what the dimensions of the second rectangle are, then all of this stuff is what? Easy. If you had a mistake on this, you need to pay attention a little bit more closely. Now, I'm trying to tell you right now where your weakness is. If you can tell me what the dimensions are, I don't have a problem with you. You probably know how to do this. All right? Mr. Greep, tell me what you think the dimensions are for the second rectangle. I'm not asking you about the area. I'm asking you what the dimensions are, meaning what two numbers do I multiply by? All right, so I have a 10 times 4. I'm not saying you're right or I'm not saying you're wrong. All right? What do you think?
I think it's 5 times 4.
5 times 4. What are you thinking? 5 times 4.
5 times 4.
Okay.
Same concept.
Okay, so now we're going to try to show you how I got, or how they got 5 times 4. Now again, please listen. Please listen. I know I'm this, for whatever reason, is a weakness. I'm not saying for you, overall. All right? So what I want to do now is I want to show you why you thought it was 10. All right? Some people thought it was 10 because they looked at this right here and they saw a 10. Come on now. Look at what I'm drawing. But up here, 10 represents this length from here to here. All right, so we're only doing part of that 10. So Lily, how do we get 5 from that?
So on the other side of the first rectangle, it's like 3 on the other side.
Yeah, so let me write that down. Here we go. Now this is the critical part. This right here is 3 because it's directly opposite that 3. Then what?
The 2 is on the bottom.
The 2 is on the bottom here.
So then you add those.
And that gives you
5
out of the,
10,
which makes the other part.
5.
There you go, guys. That's the explanation. That right there is 5. All right, that's 5. All right, so thank you. Stop. Leave him alone. He's finally listening, and now you're interrupting him. Leave him alone. 5 times. All right, now I need the other dimension. Go ahead. You did a good job.
So on the top, the first rectangle is 8.
Yep. So from here to here is 8.
And then 4 is half of that.
Yeah, 4 is directly across. So that means the other part has to be what?
4.
Has to be a 4. So that's what we have right there. So that's the dimension of the middle triangle, or the middle rectangle, which is 5 times 4. All right? Now, because of that, Austin, you can now tell me the dimensions of the third rectangle. 6 by 2. All right? Now, again, I always used to tell kids on these, more is better. Try to figure out the sides. All right? Finding the area of a rectangle is not that difficult. Even when the sides are missing, you're always trying to look across. All right? That's what you're doing. All right? You're always trying to look across. So the area of the top rectangle I know is 24. The middle rectangle is 20. The bottom rectangle is 12. So the area of that shape, I would just do what?
It's 56.
56. 56 what?
Milliliters squared.
Well, I think that's an I. Miles squared, I think.
Miles.
It doesn't matter, though. As long as you know the unit squared, that's all. I'm not trying to, it's not a big deal to me. Or I don't care what you put. The thing is, you have to understand that you measure area with squares. Now, I don't think I can do a better job explaining that. All right, your job was to make sure you understand what I just translated. All right, that's what I'm asking. What?
I got 57. I don't know what.
Well, you have to look at my work up there
But I had
and just say 8 times 3 is 24, 5 times 4 is 20, 6 times 2 is 12. This is the problem I'm having, William. All right, you look at my work. Don't look at your work. So what is different?
I have more squares than you, but it's still equal to the same thing.
That's why I said stop doing it your way. Look at what I did, and you'll be fine. All right, but you're being stubborn again for some reason today, and I don't know why. Everyone else has drawn the rectangles exactly like I showed them. And you're going off doing something different. All right? Now, number 2. Everybody take a look at number 2. All right? And I want you to tell me what shapes you see. All right? Morgan, what shapes do you see?
You could do
A
a rectangle at the bottom.
rectangle at the bottom.
And then like another rectangle.
Another rectangle.
And then the two.
To what? What are those called?
What they call.
That's okay. That's why we write it down. They were 2 what?
Trapezoid.
That's right, 2 trapezoids. All right, now the question I have for you, Morgan, is are the trapezoids the same?
Yes.
Yeah, the trapezoids are the same. All right, so instead of doing 2 trapezoids, you could find 1 trapezoid and do what? Double it or multiply it by 2. All right, so I'm going top to bottom. All right, so at the top, there were area of a trapezoid. Does everybody agree with that? T for trapezoid. All right, and just to make sure I don't leave it, area of the trapezoid. All right, now, how many trapezoids are there again? 2. Are they the same?
Yes.
So I'm going to go 2 times, and then the formula for area of a trapezoid, which was 1/2 parentheses base 1 plus base 2 times the height. All right, everybody take a look at that because that's a little confusing. I don't want it to be confusing. What? Anybody have an issue with that? All right, now there are 2 what? Rectangle. I'm going to put rectangle 1. All right, and what's the formula for a rectangle? Base times height. Area of rectangle 2. Base times height. And then what am I going to do? Add them up. We already know that. All right, so here we go. Now, over here, Morgan, what can I do with 2 times 1/2, Morgan? What do they do to each other? What's half of 2?
1.
So they cancel out. Right, so I want everybody to understand that. Look at the 2 and the 1/2. They can do what to each other? Cancel out. What?
If you're trying to find an area of a pentagon, can you just do that? It's like,
Area of a pentagon. Where do you see a pentagon?
it's just a random thought.
No, listen. If I was teaching you geometry, I would show you how to do that. It's a different formula. That's a good thought, though. Same thing here. There's a formula for hexagon. It's called 1/2 perimeter times the apothem. You'll learn that in geometry. Right now, we don't have the ability right now kind of to do that. So we break it down. Don't be sorry. That's a good question. We break it down into the shapes that we know. All right. And it just so happens those are 2 trapezoids. And we know the formula for the trapezoid. All right. So here we go. So do you agree with me that 2 and the 1/2 cancel, right? So now what are the 2 bases?
10 and 20.
So 10, I'm going to put a parentheses parentheses 10 plus 20. What's the height?
9.
Very good. All right. Now, what's the base and height of, what's the base and height of the middle rectangle? Let's see if you can figure it out.
It would be 4 and 20.
Yay, very good. So I want you to tell me how I knew this was 4 right here, kiddo.
Because you add 3 and 3.
That's right. Come on, guys. That's not a difficult thing. All right, does everybody see why that's 4? William, do you see it's 4 yet? Yes or no?
Oh, wait.
Because this...
Yeah, 6. It was 3. 6.
There you go. That's right. And that's 10.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So now, she did great. It was 20 by 4. And then I need the bottom one.
10 times.
Yeah, 10 times 5. Good job, kiddo. All right, now what I want to do is I'm going to shrink that down. All right, so I can do the calculation and blow it up a little bit. All right, so now what's 10 plus 20?
30.
30 times 9.
237.
Yeah, we don't need a calculator for that. 20 times 4.
80.
10 times 5.
50.
Add that up.
Um,
We don't need a calculator. You're doing good.
$400
Yeah. So now let's look at the units. 400 what?
millimeters.
Yeah, 400 millimeters squared. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, we're just breaking them down. Breaking them down into the pieces. All right, what time do we got here? Come back, tell me. All right, so we got some more time. All right, so now what I want to look at question number 3 for a second, please. Everybody look at question number 3. All right. So I have the area. What are the 3 shapes? They kind of give it away here. What?
Triangle.
So I want the area of a triangle. Tell me the formula for area of a triangle.
Base times height divided by 2.
Yep, but I like to say 1/2, bless you, base times height. Now I have area of a trapezoid. Do you remember the formula?
The formula
For area of a trapezoid.
for the trapezoid would be 1/2
Good.
times, times B1 plus B2 and then times 8.
Yep, awesome. Thank you. And then the last shape, what's that last shape called?
The last is it semicircle?
That's right, semicircle. So what's the formula for area of a semicircle?
Would it be pi d?
Nope,
No.
that has to do with circumference. All right, William, help him.
You do pi radius squared divided by 2.
Yes. But again, divided by 2 is the same
1/2.
as 1/2. I like personally 1/2 pi r squared. Area of the semicircle. All right? Yes.
Try the circle.
Okay, so now we're just putting in the values. All right, we're putting in the values. All right, so I want to go back. What's the base and height of the triangle?
The base and height of the triangle is 5 and 5.
5 and what? Say it again, I didn't hear you.
5.
Yes, 5 and 5. So we're going 1/2 5 times 5. All right, now what are the 2 bases of the trapezoid?
11 and 5.
And what's the height?
3.
All right. Now, what is the radius of the circle?
8.5.
How did you get that?
11 divided by 2.
11 divided by 2. If I have $11 in my pocket, how much money? And I got to give you half of it. Close. 6 plus 6 is 12. So it'd be 5 plus 5 plus a half. We each get 5.5. True?
Yes.
All right. So now, parentheses, 5.5 squared. All right. Now, what do I do with those areas?
I'm still confused on how you get like the.
Okay, so look right here. This is called the diameter. True? So then halfway is the radius.
Oh.
Half of 11. 5.5. Why are you not keeping up with me? All right. Don't start. Seriously. I'm not in the mood. Like you. All right. Half of 5 times 5.
Half of 5 times 5 is 5.
Say that again. Shh, shh. Do it on your calculator. I don't care. I know what you did. You did 5 plus 5 and took half of it. What's 5 times 5? Now I take half of 25. Come on, use your calculator. I'm good with that. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right, come on. Get back on the game. 12.5. All right? 11 plus 5. You don't need a calculator for that.
It is 16.
Half of 16.
8.
8 times 3. Yep. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. Hold on. Give me a second. All right, now you got to do half of pi times 5.5 squared. Use your calculator. Tell me what that is.
47.5.
Anybody else get 47.51 approximately? Did you get that?
Yeah, I got 47.
Thank you. All right. So now the total, what am I doing?
12.5 plus 24 plus 47.5
Is what?
84.01.
Approximately 84.01 what?
That was squared.
Feet squared. All right, let's be happy with that. All right. Now, listen to me. Your assignment right now is to try on your own 4, 5, 6. Listen to me. That's all I'm asking. 4, 5, and 6. And you have to do the second page. The second page is just a repeat of the what?
First page.
It's just a repeat of the first page. Practicing the fourth. No, I just said, this is, you got to listen to me now. I don't want you to have too much homework. All right? But I want you to try it on your own. Draw the shapes. Break them down like I tried to show you. All right? I want all of the work written down, just like I showed you. I don't care about just telling me what the full area is. That's not going to work. Like this right here. See? Right here, look. Area equals scratched out. That's no good. I'm not accepting it. You're going to get a 0, and I'm going to text your parents. All right? I want it done just like I did. Break them down into the individual pieces. Write the formula for the individual pieces. Substitute the numbers in, and tell me what the area is. That's the deal. All right? Now, again, I'm going to say it one more time. Second page needs to be done. All right? It's just like the first page. Is do you know the formulas? Then I want you to do 4, 5, and 6. Try 4, 5, and 6 on your own. All right? They're not that difficult. And then tomorrow in class, I'll do with you 7, 8, and 9. I'll do 7, 8, 9 in class tomorrow. All right? That should be enough homework. All right? Quiet now. Get to work. What? Oh, okay.
The work I've done is good enough.
If it's like I did, it's good enough. Yeah, I wanted you to write in the number. You have to write in the number.
Oh, and then do like
Yeah.
5 times.
Okay? What?
Because if I split this into half, there still is a little bit of a gap.
No, actually, that's a very good question, but I think it's telling
To make 2 triangles.
you. Actually, that's a good one. All right, hold on. Let me look at that real quick. Let me see that. That was very tricky. No, see, look what I did.
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah, 2 triangles.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, because if I moved it up, you wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, anyways, 8 reaches.
That's very good. Very good. What?
How do you find the radius that's not shown?
It's half the diameter.
I know, but the diameter's not shown. Or am I just-